voice echoes in a half-empty church, telling a story that everybody's heard. They looked at the floor, they looked for their soul. Some found relief, some an empty hole. The poet's pen dances, trying to make the damn words rhyme. Taming rhinoceros, putting serpents in a line. So easily distracted, girls in hip-hugging jeans make the grown men nervous, bursting at the seams. Looks to heaven for salvation and peace. Tears in the graveyard, killing fields of grief. The pipe organ bellows, the brass bells chime. Couldn't death take a holiday just one time? And the poet takes a whiskey in the corner cafe, writing words on a napkin, so much left to say. And the ink is flowing like the blood in his veins, where he likes to put the needle to relieve him of his pain. And the priest starts crying in the middle of the night, calling out for God and praying for the light. Who will be his confessor? Will anyone forgive his sins? Surely not his victims, maybe the Vatican. And the prostitute smiles as the poet walks by. He stops in his tracks, he gives a world-weary sigh. He knows she's a slave and a smile's just a lie, but he pulls out his money and he walks inside. The police ask the poet the place of his birth. He says, same as us all, man, between heaven and earth. They throw him in a cell and say, if I were you, I would leave this town, whatever you do. So he walks into the church, sits down in the pew. When the priest walks by, he says, I gotta talk to you. I've lived my life in degradation and shame. I might call myself a poet, but no one even knows my name. I can feel myself dying from the inside out. I got no faith to save me and I'm full of doubt. I don't believe in God, but I fear hell too. I don't even know why I'm talking to you. Then the priest says, come on, let me pour you a drink. You're closer to God, man, much closer than you think. You see, I'm the one who's lost. You see, I'm the one who's damned. I've committed grave sins with my holy hands. I've followed temptation. I've abandoned my call. I didn't need the devil to hasten my fall. Why don't you take my robes? Why don't you give me your rags? Why don't you try to be good? 'Cause I was born to be bad. Come Sunday morning, the new priest starts to preach. He keeps himself hidden, his face out of reach, and he tells them a story of an addict and a drunk. No one could believe how low this one man had sunk, selling his blood to buy a bottle of gin, and deserting his children who never even knew him. He was stealing from the rich, doing worse to the poor. The only love he ever knew was in the arms of a whore. And he takes out his syringe, he holds it high above his head. He says, this is my God, and with God's will I'll be dead. And he plunges the needle deep into his arm. Women screaming in fear, the children crying with alarm. Back row, the real priest, he stands. He says, somebody call a doctor, give this man a hand. They say, who is this bum telling us what to do? Get out of our church, we'll call the police on you. And the poet's face is white as his robe. He can feel himself flying, free of life's heavy load. He takes a last breath, grabs the priest's hand, says, life and for the living, let your heaven be damned. shivers in the cold, saying his prayers exactly as he was told.